Alright, so we are here in part 3 and we are working on authentication, and in this part we are going to be doing this authentication using Clerk, and you see how fast and simple that is. So yeah, the first thing we want to quickly do is we want to go into Clerk, so you can just search for like clerk.com, just like that, right? And okay, so let me just do it from scratch. I need both of these bad boys right here, right? So yeah, so inside we just go to start building for free. Right here you can see that we have this documentation right here, right? Then we can just go into the dashboard real quick. It's going to open up like a new tab first. I can close this, and yeah, so inside here what we can do is you can create a new application. I'm pretty sure you'd see something like this if it's your first time signing in or signing up. So you just come here and give your application name. You can just say Discord clone, just like this. All right, and you can add a phone number verification, username authentication, basically Facebook, Apple, GitHub, basically anything you want to add, and even some web3 stuff right here. All right, so we are just going to name it Discord clone, and we just enable email and Google for now. I mean, we're not going to make any super complicated stuff with authentication, but if you want you can add it just to explore some stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. Then after we add the email, we enable the email or the Google, right? Yeah, we can just click on create application right here, and that should quickly create one application for us right here. Then now that we have this, the next thing we want to do is we want to quickly follow this short documentation that we have on this page right here. So I'll just copy this, and then what we'll do is I'll just open up the project right here. Alright, so you can see that I did install it here to test it out. So I'll just clear that, and over here we just install it one more time because there's no more inside the package.json. It is, yeah, so it's no more, and we are now about to install it right now. All right, so yeah, so while this is installing, let us quickly go into our git ignore and then work on ignoring our env file. So we are just going to come here and then enter .env right here. I know this is supposed to handle that, but like for I realized I had to do this before my env was actually being ignored. So yeah, right after doing this, what you want to do is you want to come and create a new file called .env, just like this. Great job. So now that we have that, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go back into the documentation right here, and we want to quickly copy this .env variables right here. You can click on this right to copy, or you can just click on this to review the information and then select or just to copy, but it's complicated, so just click on this to copy, and we can quickly move on nice and clean. So now that we have that, let us just go back into the project right here, and then we would post that nice and clean. All right, so now that we have these bad boys inside here, right, now that we have them, let us go back into the site, into the docs, right, and we can copy this. So you can see that it says you should create a middleware.ts right here. So let's copy this information by clicking on this, right? Then once we are done with that, we can simply come here and we would create since we are not using an SLC and we are using the normal app folder right here, the normal one, we just create it inside the root directory. So we'll just say what middleware.ts, just like this. Then inside the middleware.ts, we'll just paste these bad boys real quick, nice and clean. You can see them looking nice right here. All right, so now that we have that, the next thing we want to do is let's go back to the site and we'll scroll down. Then yeah, so right after scrolling down, we need to make sure that we wrap our application inside the Clerk provider right here. So what we are going to do is I'm simply going to copy this right here, and we'll go back into the application. I'll open the app, and I'll go into the so the layouts right here. Then I would simply just paste that. Okay, it was supposed to close it for us automatically, but okay, yeah, it has. then I'll just open this and push it right under the HTML right here, nice and clean like that. Then I will just try to import it automatically like we just did, and you can see it is here right above. If you are still not able to import it, you can import it yourself by following this right here, nice and clean. Alright, so now that we have that, the next thing we will do is let's go back to the documentation, and then let's quickly go to continue to the next guide right here, and then you can see that over here it says that we want to build our own sign in or sign up page right here, right? So yeah, quickly let us go back into this project, right? And then let us go to the auth organizational routes that we have here, and you can see that we have the routes here, right? We do not need these two bad boys anymore. They were just used as examples, but according to the documentation we are going to have to create a few more folders, right? So now we could do these folders manually, but there's a much more smarter way to handle things. When you're watching my tutorials, I'll teach you the fastest and the easiest way to go around stuff. So let us quickly come here. So you can see we have all these right here. I'll just copy up to this point right here. You see, just copy up to this point, and you see it says app, right? So we'll just go inside here and make sure we are in the app, right? This is just an organizational route, so it's pretty much we're just doing it inside the app, right? Like pretty much it, right? So this is just organizational if you watch the previous part. So inside this route here, what we do is we just create a new folder, we paste this whole line that we copied on inside the documentation, we just paste that inside here. And what we want to do is I want to copy this page.tsx, right? And I would even cut it, in fact. Then I'll just hit enter. Then inside here you can see that this has been underlined or highlighted, right? Then I'll click on new file, and then I'll paste the page.tsx, and then that should basically do it for us. We'll go back into the documentation. I'll scroll down. Okay, I don't even need to scroll down. I'll just come and copy this right here, and then I'll go back into the sign in, the page.tsx, which is in the sign in route, and then I'll just paste that nice and clean just like that. All right, so now that we have that, we want to move on to the sign up right there. So that one, yeah, and we also need to set this one up. So inside the middleware.ts, we just copy this whole thing, then we go back into the code, and we would come to the middleware.ts, copy the whole thing, and then just paste it on top of it, just like that. Like we highlight the whole thing and paste the whole thing on top of it, like as a replacement, right? Nice and clean. So now that we have these bad boys all set up, let us quickly go back to the documentation and know that our next move, right? So down here you can see that it says we should update our environment variables right here. So we just copy that, and then we'll go back into, let us go back into the project right here. We'll go into our .env right here, hit enter, and then paste these into our environment variable file right here like that. Then let us go back into the documentation. I'll quickly scroll down, okay, and then we need to set up the custom sign up page. So that one too, we just enter here just like this, and over here we do the same trick like we did the other time. I will just copy this whole part, this whole path right here, or parts, right? And we can just go back inside here, and just like what we did, we just create a new folder, and then we just add it. We select the page, only the page part out of it, we cut it, and then we hit enter. Then right after creating this, we can just do and then paste. So page.tsx, we just go back here, copy this, open up the project right here, and then we paste that nice and clean. So now that we have that all set up, what we quickly want to do is let us go back and do and verify a few more changes. So we'll come here, and then we copy this middleware.ts again. We could just add this line to it, right? But hey, I mean, I'm greedy, bro. I don't want to do this all over again. So I'll just copy this whole thing, and I'll just come back, and then I'll just come inside. I'll go inside our middleware.ts, and then paste it just like that, nice and clean. So now that we have this all set up, let us go back and look at a few more things that we need to make sure we get done. So yeah, we already have the 2 and 3, the line 2 and 3 of the env file. So we just copy the first one, we go back into the project right here, and we just paste it right under this, like that. So now that we have that, we are all good. You can see reload.env and it's working nice as it would. All right, so now that we've been able to set this up, we can quickly go into our application and then test it out. Right, I want to show you something really quick. So you can see this is it. Don't worry. Okay, I'll just close this. Right, I'll just close that, and then what I'll do is I'll go to, yeah, so I'll just enter just like that. Okay, it's going to take some time to load up, but you can see that as it loaded up, it automatically took us to the sign in route just like this. All right, and then you can see that we have this blue background right here. Now if you remember, let me quickly push this to the side real quick. Okay, so if you remember, we did come to the layouts right here, and then we added a few stylings right here, right? So what we can do is you can take out this BG blue 500, and then we can give it a flex, right? You can give it a flex, you can give it a justify center and items center right here, and then everything should be nice and clean. All right, you can see, so it has been centered nice and clean like we wanted to. All right, so now that we understand this, let us quickly click on continue with Google, and then that should basically allow us to sign in just like that. Okay, so continue, and we are in. All right, okay, so the fact that we are in, it is going to show us. Okay, so you can see that this is what we have right here. We are here right now. We want to be able to display our user information, and then we also want to be able to sign out right after that, right? So that should be pretty easy. I think, yeah, let me quickly collapse everything, then we open up the app, we'll go into the index, we'll go into the page.tsx right here, and then we can clean this whole thing, right? So let me clean that. I'm trying to hit the backspace, but it looks like the cursor might not be responding. Okay, it's back. So I'll just hit div, create a new image element right here. Then inside we can just add a user button just like this. So user button, you're going to import it from Clerk just like that, and yeah, that should do it for us. We can just clear this and cut this one too out so that our code will remain clean. All right, so you remember that before, all we had to do was after sign out, then URL but as you can see, it has been deprecated, and I had to pull out this. I had to set the documentation, and then I pulled out this where is it? Yeah, so I searched the documentation. So how I did it, this is how I did it. It says so you can find your way out whenever you get stuck. So I searched for sign out just like that, and then I clicked on build a custom sign out flow, and then I just read this part and I saw user button, right? So I clicked on the user button right here, and it took me to this doc right here, and I saw that after sign out URL, and I realized it was deprecated. Then they gave the solution. They were like, move the after sign out URL to Clerk provider, right? So guess what we did? I just copy that, and then I will go into the layout.tsx right here, and then I will just paste that inside, and then just set it to home right here, nice and clean. Right, so we can close these tabs real quick. Okay, we can close these tabs, and yeah, you can see that we have the user button right here. We can sign out right here, nice and clean, and then we can continue with Google again just to test it out, see if it works. Okay, so we are back inside here, and then we can see we can also manage our accounts right here. You can see, yeah, we can manage security and a whole bunch of stuff out here, right? So yeah, nice and clean. Then we can just sign out as usual. Yeah, let us sign back in, because in the next video we're going to be continuing, right? Okay, so now that we have been able to work on the now that we've been able to work on the authentication successfully, we are quickly going to move on to some more interesting stuff in the next video. So thank you very much for getting to this point. See you in the next one.